Cobb is a professional kidnapper, the best of the best in the uneasy art of extraction. He steals valuable secrets from the depths of the subconscious in the moment of sleep, when the human mind is most vulnerable. Cobb's rare talents have made him a valuable player on the field of betrayal in the universe of industrial espionage, but they have also made him a perennial fugitive and taken away everything he has ever adored. When Cobb gets a chance to right his wrongs, because his latest case could bring everything back, he will have to try to accomplish the impossible infiltration. Instead of a perfect heist, Cobb and his team of special agents will have to pull off the opposite. Now their task is not to steal the idea, but to inspire it. If they succeed, it will be the perfect crime. But who expected Cobb's main enemy in this case? Who literally anticipates the team's every move and only Cobb can see it? Greetings, friends. Today I will briefly tell you about a fantastic film that was nominated for Best Picture Oscar, called Inception. But before I ask you to like and subscribe, because that is the only motivation to keep making videos for you. And now let's get to the film.
But you'd have to buy out the entire cabin and the first-class flight attendant.
I bought the airline.
A man is found on the shore and dragged into the house of an old man who knows he's here to kill him, but we are transported back in time. Dominic, Cobb, and Arthur are extractors, people with the ability to get into people's subconscious in their sleep and take their innermost secrets. Now we are shown how they try to extract secret data from Sato's safe, but the man resists and leaves their manipulation. But he doesn't get very far. For all this time he has been under anesthesia, while Dominic and Arthur try to overcome his powers of reason. Their mission was to retrieve data from the safe where the secret information is sealed. But in what he thinks is a successful theft attempt, he is stopped, and Mel's girlfriend, who is Cobb's wife, makes his colleague suffer. As soon as he gets a chance, Dominic shoots Arthur and makes him wake up. But when he realizes it won't work, he gets his ally to wake Dominic up by bathing him in a tub of cold water. The dialogues go nowhere and we are shown Cobb's trump card. It turns out that they didn't pull it off so easily. At the moment they are in another dream, which Saito is unaware of. But when Dominic decides to pull out the information the old-fashioned way, Saito realizes that the carpet in his apartment was made of wool, but now it's lying on cheap synthetic, and it's not hard for him to guess that this is another dream. Their real bodies were on the train, and they were accompanied by another guy who signaled that their machine time was running out and it was time to leave the dream. When the men awaken, Arthur blames Nash for screwing up the carpet in his role as an architect. By the way, an architect is a man who creates an illusory dream world so that the victim can't tell it from reality. Dominic gets off the train and finds himself in another town, calls his children who he has not seen for a long time, but promises to send them presents, and when he asks where their mother is, Cobb cannot answer yet. When Arthur comes for him, the men once again discuss the failure of their mission and are going to hide from Cobb engineering all over the world, but Saito is waiting for them in the helicopter. He tells them that Nash sold them out and came to bargain for his life. But since Cobb doesn't settle matters with murders, Nash is taken out of the helicopter and the three men go on their way. Their last target, Saito, reveals that he arranged the meeting to see if Cobb could do the seemingly impossible job of introducing an idea into a man's subconscious, or the beginning. Saito wants Cobb to convince Robert Fisher, son of Sato's ailing rival, Maurice Fisher, to break up his father's company. In return, Saito promises, with one phone call, to help Cobb, who is falsely accused of murdering his wife, legally return to the United States, where his children remain. Cobb accepts the offer. When he arrives in Paris, he comes to his father-in-law Miles with two requests: to give a gift to his children and to help him find an architect like him. But Miles is sure he has a better one. He offers his student Ariadne.
Policeman?
Not exactly.
Cobb tests her with a request to create a labyrinth in 2 minutes that takes 1 minute to complete. From the first attempts the girl did not succeed, but soon she did. When they arrived at the cafe, where Cobb tried to explain in detail the essence of creating realistic dreams, giving the girl a sense of her work, but telling that in dreams we always find ourselves in the midst of events, without realizing how we ended up there, the girl suddenly realizes that she is in a dream, and the events that Cobb creates make it finally clear that they are not in reality. After waking up, it becomes known that they have been asleep for only 5 minutes, but the brain at this point perceives time faster, so it seemed to her that a whole hour had passed. In the next dream, Cobb tells her that there is a dream and an object. When the architect creates a dream and transfers the object there, the object's subconscious fills the dream itself. This is how Dominic steals information from the thoughts of his targets. The girl is amazed by this tactic and, realizing her capabilities, amazes Cobb with her ability to literally break reality and create the ability to see the impossible, as well as break literally all the laws of physics. Passing projections look at her because they feel alien. If the dream is overcrowded, they will attack and destroy her. But at one point the girl creates a new place and Cobb realizes that it is a real existing place, which is forbidden, because you can easily lose perception of reality in the dream. But the girl refuses to change the place, for which she is grabbed by passers-by, and immediately Cobb's wife appears and kills her, thereby forcing her to wake up. Cobb offers to make her a totem. Arthur explains that a totem is a small object of which only the owner will be aware, for with its help one can realize reality. The girl realizes that Cobb has real problems that he is going to hide and leaves. But Cobb realizes that she will be back.
But he's not going to be enough for her now when she comes back.
And goes to Mombasa to get the Imsu imitator. In the conversation, it becomes clear that the case will not be an easy one, as it requires building subtle threads, such as a relationship with her father and political prejudices into the subject's subconscious, in order to implant the idea of destroying the corporation. Imsu offers help in the form of chemist Yusuf, but first Cobb needs to get away from his tail. And in a happy moment with this, he is helped by an old acquaintance, Saito. Meanwhile, Ariadne returns to Arthur and the guy shows her tricks in her sleep that she must learn in order to create the most realistic dreams possible. Cobb arrives at Yusuf, who generally agrees to create a 3-level dream, which Saito is about to go into with them to make sure they complete their assigned task. Yusuf demonstrates the people in the shared dream, into which he immerses them by means of sleeping pills that force them to sleep for about 40 hours. And these people go there to be awakened, for they have lost the line between reality and sleep. To begin with, their plan will be to infiltrate the consciousness of the man playing the role of Fisher Sr.'s right hand, Browning, the role that Imus himself can play on the first level in his subconscious.
When we take him a level deeper, his own projection of Browning should feed that right back to him.
Ariadne was able to create her totem and most importantly learned how not to give it to anyone, because by giving her totem to someone it will lose its meaning, because only the owner should know the weight and size of the totem in order to realize his state. The girl is going to show him her labyrinths for the first level, but Cobb refuses, because only the creator should know about its structure, otherwise the plan will fail because of Mel, because if she knows the structure of the labyrinth, then she can break their sleep faster. They plan to instill the idea in Robert's mind step by step that he does not want to be like his father, thereby destroying the corporation. They have also worked on a 3-level sleeping pill, the only way out of which will be an ejection, a sensation of falling. The problem with Fisher Jr. being nowhere under anesthesia is solved by Saito buying out the airline company Robert uses. Every 2 weeks he makes a long flight and at that point they have to get into his mind, with the whole crew on board. One night when Cobb was being put to sleep by a machine, for it is simply not possible for him to do it any other way, Ariadne joined him in the dream, but she didn't stay there long. She was spotted and the girl realized that these are not dreams, but memories, where Cobb is trying to prolong his wife's life. He wishes to show her the one place she should know about, the moment when he was supposed to fly away from his children, but wanted to see their faces one last time, but the moment was missed and it caused him great regret, sparking a memory. Ariadne escapes at this time and goes to an unknown memory, where she finds herself in a room with Mel, who is now very angry with Cobb, because it was their anniversary. And when they leave the dream it becomes clear that Cobb has created a prison of memories to keep his wife Mel in them. Unexpectedly, Saito arrives with Arthur and word gets out that Fisher Sr. is dead. The funeral will be held on Thursday, and Robert will accompany the body. The team fakes a plane breakdown, forcing the target to fly in a regular Boeing in business class. The plane will fly to the States, where Cobb is wanted for murder, so Saito promises that if he succeeds, he will solve his prison problem with just one call, which means he will go back to his children in peace. In the cabin, Cobb slips a sleeping pill into Robert's drink, after which the team proceeds to prepare their operation. The dream begins. Robert is taken hostage, but Cobb gets a train in the middle of town and Arthur has armed guards protecting Robert's subconscious. When they leave and the situation calms down, Arthur admits that he did not notify the team about the guards, Because a little earlier Robert had turned to the extractors for protection. Saito has been wounded, so Immerse is going to wake him up, and Cobb and Yusuf admit that with that sleeping pill, one does not wake up, but moves to limbo, the unfinished part of the dream where one can be stuck forever. Robert fails to learn the combination, so Immerse assumes the guise of Browning and launches himself into it. At this time Cobb tells Ariadne that together with Mel, by the standards of the dream, they spent 50 years there and felt like gods. But when they got tired of it they came back. There Cobb immediately realized something was wrong with her. She thought she was still in the dream and wanted to kill herself to get back to the real world. So in that room she said that she had sent a letter to the prosecutor saying that Cobb had threatened her. She had tried to get him to jump with her, and he had convinced her that this was the real world, but she didn't believe it and jumped, and then she died instantly. Soon Cobb had no choice but to fly away, leaving his children without a last look at them. He still can't get over that regret and guilt. The relationship between father and son turns out to be worse than they thought, so they change their plan and intend to show Browning's true nature, thus ruining their relationship.
Sweet dreams.
Am I boring you?
At the hotel they pull a trick in which Cobb makes Robert believe that Cobb is his security chief and draw attention to the strangeness of the dream, thereby making him look for his creator. The projections are already drawing attention to, but Arthur asks the girl to distract them and kiss him. But since this does not work, he turns out to be the owner of a free kiss. Cobb manages to get Robert away, and they're to get rid of the alleged intruders. But when he hands him a gun for protection, he is about to shoot himself, but he manages to convince the subject otherwise. Cobb then forces him to remember the combination, and they use it to find a hotel room in which they suggest to Robert that Browning did the kidnapping because Robert did not see with his own eyes how he was tortured. And when his projection arrives, he confesses that he wanted to do the best he could so that Robert wouldn't destroy the corporation and thus leave himself with nothing. Cobb reports that he is lying and suggests that Robert sneak into Browning's mind to find out what he is hiding. But in fact, everyone sneaks into Robert's mind and finds out the combination of numbers for the safe. But before he does, Cobb catches a memory of that unfortunate night with the death of his wife and is immediately taken to subconscious level 3. Eames' dream is a fortified mountain hospital. The team holds off the guards while Saito takes Robert into the equivalent of his subconscious. Yusuf, pursued by Robert's projections on the first level, deliberately drives off the bridge, starting the ejection too early. This causes an avalanche on the Eames level and a lack of gravity on the Arthur level, forcing Arthur to improvise a new ejection, synchronized with the van's fall into the water. A projection of Mel appears at Eames' level and kills Robert, after which Cobb gathers his strength and kills Mel, while Saito dies from his wounds. Cobb and Ariadne enter the limbo, which turns out to be Cobb and Mel's former world, to rescue Robert and Saito. While Eames prepares an ejection by stuffing the hospital with explosives, Cobb reconciles with his guilt and Mel's death. And when Ariadne finds Robert and throws him off the balcony for the ejection to wake up on level 3, Cobb admits that this Mel, just a shadow of his wife he created, but she is far from the true one, so the projection grabs a knife and stabs it into Cobb, for which Ariadne kills her, then asks Cobb to find Saito quickly and jumps down. Eames makes Robert walk to the safe, and Arthur arranges the ejection by blowing the cables holding the elevator. Robert finally enters the safe room and finds his father there. He confesses that he is not just disappointed in his son, but disappointed that his son was trying to be like him. So Robert finally enters the combination where the secret papers turn out, but he wonders about the windmill from his memories, and Eames, recognizing the combination, detonates the building. Arthur provokes the creation of the ejection, and the same thing happens on the first level. Cobb, meanwhile, says goodbye to Mel in the final seconds and a few moments later finds himself with the old Saito from the beginning of the movie and reminds him of their deal. All the dreamers wake up on the plane, and Saito makes the call. Arriving at Los Angeles International Airport, Cobb passes U.S. immigration and Miles escorts him home. Using Mel's totem, a wolf that spins endlessly in his sleep to see if he is really in the real world, Cobb does not wait for the result and instead goes to his children, and the wolf slows down little by little, and that is where the movie ends.